All right, welcome to another episode of What the Ruck Podcast. I'm your host, Ruck. We're going to get right into it tonight. This episode is going to be about Corey Holcomb and the current situation that he's in and all the issues that have come about ever since he and Anton Daniels had that sit down. His career and life has been in a tailspin in the public eye. One of the things that Corey Holcomb is known for is his unfiltered humor. And, people who've always listened to Corey has known that he doesn't hold back. He doesn't pull any punches. Some people can say he's a little vulgar. His comedy is a little out there. But even looking through all of the comedy and the things and antics, Corey is actually a very intelligent brother. And this situation, whether you are a fan of Corey's or you someone who doesn't like Corey, has spiraled completely out of control. Corey has been doing YouTube, I want to say somewhere around 15 years, with the 5150 show. Everyone who watches that show, they seem to love the show. They get to interact with Corey and Craig and Darlene. And it's one of those shows that, people actually take time out of their day to go on YouTube and other streaming platforms to watch. I watched quite a few of his episodes. I love his content because he talks about a wide range of things and he puts the Corey Holcomb comedy spin on it, which, we all can appreciate. A lot of this stuff tends to get taken so seriously that people forget, hey, some of this stuff we can sit back and laugh at. We don't have to always be so uptight and be, so serious about life. We're all on this earth to, at some point, enjoy the life that we have and, to make our lives better. But Corey in the past month has just been on a downward spiral, and I'll say it like that. Let's start with the beef with Anton Daniels. Everybody has seen the show where Anton Daniels was a guest on the 5150 show. Right from the jump, it got heated. They exchanged some words, about their political views. They accused each other to pandering to different communities. Corey accused Anton of pandering to the white community, and Anton accused Corey of pandering to the black community. Say what you want to say about both of these guys. These guys are very intelligent brothers. They have their own way of doing things. I just think the one mistake Anton Daniels made, and then this is just my personal opinion, is that he went on Corey's show trying to do what Corey does. And that's not going to work. Corey has been a comedian damn near his entire life, if not his entire life. And, when it comes to getting jokes off and flaming people up and cooking people, he does a damn good job at it. His wit and his humor is on point. Darlene and Craig are there, as his co-hosts to back him up. They put their jokes and their personalities on the show, which it all balances out and gives everybody who's watching a little different perspective and take on it. And it gives you something that you may need in your day to make you laugh or to make you think. Where Anton went wrong was he went in there trying to basically flame up and cook Corey. Now, whether that was his intentions or not, only Anton knows that. I feel like they took the situation when it got heated and they both tried to posture up on one another. And then they used that posture up to create more drama out the situation, because it seems to me that they both saw the situation the same. They were going to take this and make this moment as viral as possible to get more clicks, more subscribers, more views. And that's what they have done. But the problem is you have two males who are, you can consider alpha males, that would not back down, and they kept upping the ante on one another. And because of that, it spiraled out of control. Anton Daniels finally at some point bowed out because it got too personal. Corey started taking shots at, his wife and what she looks like, and his daughter and what she looks like. But that's who Corey Holcomb is. You need to know who your opponent is. It's The Art of War, the classic book by Sun Tzu, Art of War. And one of the things in that book it details is knowing your enemy. Anton Daniels should have went there knowing that if this goes left, it's going to go all the way left and it's not coming back. And he didn't go in there with that mindset. Or maybe he did and he got thrown off when it got heated. Who knows what was running through both of their heads. But I think at the end of the day, when they saw how viral this was going to be, they poured and leaned more into it. And they basically have milked the situation for everything it's worth. Like I said, Anton, he stepped away because it was causing distress in his life, his personal life. He got accused of being a scammer. He was accused of infidelity and all these other things. I do not know either one of these brothers personally, but I will say this. It's not my place to say if he's been cheating on his wife, if he's a scammer. If he is, then those are things he's going to have to deal with. And then Corey took it to another level when he created the shirt of Anton's family. Now, the issue with that is the fact that he held his shirt up on the 5150 show, and I believe it had a picture of Anton's families as monkeys or baboons. All right. And one of the things that he wanted to happen was he wanted Darlene to hold the shirt up, and Darlene refused to hold the shirt up. And now that has created tension between him and Darlene, and they have traded words back and forth. So right now Corey is on this path of scorched earth. Anybody who's not rocking with him and, following him, I guess you could say blindly, he's burning them. He's scorching them. He is, because him and Darlene got into it. I saw that episode of the 5150 show. I felt bad for Darlene because she got put in an uncomfortable situation. There's so many layers to that. I don't think it would have been right for Darlene to hold that shirt up, for the simple fact, when you are someone from another culture and you align yourself with a certain imagery, especially when it comes to black people and the imagery of gorillas, baboons, and monkeys, because, due to racism, those are things that we've been called. I don't think, it would have been right for her to hold that shirt up. Even though she would have did it in support of Corey, it would have been a bad look on her part coming from the black community. And I'm just going to keep it 100 about that. So she refused to hold it up, basically. And he didn't take too kindly to that. And, he began to basically, in a passive aggressive way, to flame her up. And, that has caused them to speak out about the situation. And at the same time this was going on, a video leaked and came out of Corey putting his hands on a young lady. And the sad part about that situation is there's multiple videos going around and very few people are showing the entire encounter. And, the video was brought up by another YouTube creator, The Lead Attorney. The Lead Attorney is a practicing attorney. I believe he's based out of Atlanta. Very smart brother. He has a very good podcast. I watch, some of his content as well. Very knowledgeable about laws and legislation. So, I suggest you go over there and check out his podcast as well. Well, Corey fired some shots at him, basically calling him a liar. And the lead attorney sat back and, Corey made some accusations about, him personally, and said some, wild things about him personally. And, with that being said, after a while, the lead attorney said, "You know what? I'm not just going to sit back. I tried to, let this go by, but it keeps, igniting and festering and burning and flaming up." So he did a podcast where he came with receipts and he called Corey out, for what Corey was, basically, as he put it, besmirching his name. The lead attorney said that, he spoke with Corey's attorney about, setting up an interview to discuss the situation, because on previous episodes of his podcast, he spoke very highly of Corey, and he actually defended Corey, where everybody is trying to put this label of a woman beater on Corey. I do not think Corey is a woman beater. I don't know if there's any other incidents out there where Corey had run-ins with women and being physical. I believe this was a heated situation between two people. It wasn't like they were dating or in a relationship. So I just think it was a situation where it got out of hand. He put hands on her, he pushed her or whatever. But if you watch the entire video, she did get back in there and get her licks back. So, I don't think either one can cry victim. But, under no circumstances, society tells us not to put our hands on a woman. And to a certain degree, I do believe in that until, certain lines get crossed. We're not going to get into what those lines are, maybe on another episode, but certain lines have to be crossed if you're a man for you to put your hands on a woman. Now, I'm not advocating that, men should be beating women, because biologically we're stronger, and that shouldn't just, be an acceptable behavior. Now, the lead attorney felt like, Corey was getting a raw deal. He was sticking up for Corey. And, Corey at the time, I guess, felt like he lied and was trying to use the situation to gain clout or whatever the case may be. But he ended up flaming up the lead attorney. So now they're going back and forth. And, this situation continues to just spiral one person after the next. And I feel right now Corey feels like he's backed into a corner, and the only thing he can do is come out fighting. And I think the line between friend and foe has become blurred to Corey, because now he's attacking everyone, and he feels like everyone is attacking him. And to a certain degree, he has every right, because there have been a lot of disgusting things said about him. There have been a lot of rumors spread about him. There's a rumor going around now about, he may be, had inappropriate situations with people of the younger age. And I'll say it like that. Those are just rumors, but people are going to connect dots because of things he said in his shows. And, he makes off-colored jokes, and, he asks off-colored questions and things like that. And, he makes off-colored comments, and, those could be considered red flags. Yes, they could be. But that does not mean, that actually something is there. We all know Corey can be very vulgar and crass at times, but he's doing it to be funny. If you listen to him when he starts talking about politics and relationships and how men should carry themselves, he's actually pretty intelligent. And I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. And I feel like, people always want to pick a side. Now, I've read some of the comments, and it's a lot of people that support Corey, but they also have held Corey accountable for the things he said. And to me, those are true fans. They're like, look, I rock with you, but in this instance, you crossed the line, or in this situation, you went too far. That doesn't mean I'm not going to continue to support you, but I just don't support this part of it. And that's fine. No one on this planet is ever going to agree with somebody 100% on everything they say and do. That's just not realistic. That's just not life. And I believe Corey's going to have to eventually take a step back, not from the show, but take a step back from the entire situation and pivot and refocus on the things that made him popular on the 5150 show, talking about masculinity and dating and women and modern women and all those things that go into, the black community, politics, relationships, and life in general, instead of focusing on these situations that have spiraled out of control. I think one of the best things for a couple of those situations is for him to just stay quiet on it. He hired an attorney. Let his attorney do the talking for him. Don't try to fight this in the public scope on YouTube. I think that is a bad idea. I think it shows a level of disregard and arrogance for the situations, because they are serious situations. I don't think, he needs to continue just making enemies out of everybody. There are a bunch of people supporting him and hoping that he can get back to doing the content that they enjoy seeing him do. Him having Craig and Darlene up there, and they're laughing and joking and poking fun at the stuff that we tend to overthink about. And they do give a lot of good insight to things, but they just put it in a funny way, and it hits different when you do that. I think Corey needs to just focus on that and let these other situations die down. I know after him and Anton Daniels had their falling out, Anton was going on different platforms and basically speaking his mind and still, attaching himself to the situation. And what it did was it made things worse in his personal life. And I hope both of these guys have learned from this situation. Yeah, does beef and drama and sex sell? Yes, every day, 7 days a week, 365. The general public and society cannot get enough of beef and drama. It's just a fact. That's why all these reality TV shows and videos of people fighting and arguing gets millions and millions of views. It's because of beef and drama. But at some point, the beef and drama becomes time consuming, and it starts to leak into the other aspects of your life. And it has done this for both guys. And I think if they could sit down and go back and redo this, I think they would attack it from a different perspective and a different point of view. I think they both allowed their egos to get in the way, and I think they're allowing their egos to carry them now. And that's why it has made these situations worse than what they needed to be. So we're going to keep a lookout on this, and we're going to keep updating, different things that go on between Anton and Corey to find out, can they rebound from this situation? Can they put this behind them? When we get into the months of June and July and November and December, would this just be a blip on the scope of their careers in, the YouTube arena? Will they be able to put that behind them and say, hey, you know what? Hey, I said some things I shouldn't have said. I've acted a way I shouldn't have acted. And, I hurt some people that, I care about. But at the end, part of that is being a man and being able to take accountability and to say, that was my bad. I don't wish any ill will on nobody. And, I don't need to be up here dogging anybody to get views and subscribers. I'm just going to do me and be me and let the chips fall where they may. Hopefully they can get to that point. I'm hoping both of them can, because I enjoy watching both of them. I follow them on Instagram. I watch a lot of their YouTube videos. So they're very entertaining. So hopefully, these guys can put this behind them. And, Corey's got a legal situation. Hopefully he can get this resolved. And, he stated that he lost some gigs because of a lot of this stuff, and that's unfortunate. I know he likes to go out and tour and do shows and different things like that, and he's always hitting comedy clubs, and that's how he makes his living. He makes his earnings doing that, and to have that stripped away from you, something you've been doing your entire life, that's a hard pill to swallow. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. And, at some point you just have to man up and, take accountability for your actions and move forward. And hopefully that's where he can get to, hopefully sooner than later, because if he doesn't, this is going to continue to spiral out of control. And, the last thing you want is your YouTube channel being demonetized. You put out good content, you have a lot of subscribers, you get a lot of views, you have a lot of people rooting for you, you have a lot of people that are entertained by you, and you should get paid and rewarded for the time and energy and work you put into entertaining others. So hopefully that the next time we discuss this, or more updates come out, that they're a little more positive and heading in the right direction. I want to thank you for checking out this video, and hopefully you'll come back and see me some. Subscribe, please like the videos, comment, share them, get in the comments. Let's talk about this stuff. Both of these brothers are very entertaining, and this just has been a wild ride for both of them. So hopefully, our upcoming updates will be more on the positive side. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.